Saving Grace Rescue in Seattle, Washington takes in abandoned newborn kittens as well as pregnant mama cats ready to give birth. So here we have a frequency distribution table that shows the weight of the kitten in grams as well as the number of kittens that fall in that category. And what we're asked to do is to find the mean and the standard deviation of this sample data. Note that we don't have the sample data as individual data points. We only have an interval and then the frequency. So we're going to need to find the midpoint of each interval in order to calculate the mean and standard deviation. If you look at the difference between any two lower class limits or two upper class limits, you'll see that the class width is 5 grams. So once I find the midpoint for my first interval, I can add 5 grams to that midpoint to find the midpoint of each interval after that. With this frequency distribution to find the mean and standard deviation, I need my 1var stats calculator feature. In the list, I'm going to enter in my midpoint kitten weight in grams, and my frequency list will be the frequency that applies to each of those classes, which is going to be the number of kittens. Now that I've entered my paired data into the calculator, I can do my 1var stats calculator feature. Click Stat, over to Calculate, hit Enter. Make sure that your list and your frequency list names are correct, and if not, that you change them. Your rounding rule for your mean and standard deviation is one place more than the data given, and the data that was given to you is in full whole number grams. So we're going to need to round these to the nearest tenth. Since this is sample data, my variable notation is going to be x bar. And I'm going to round this to 90.7 grams. When you look on your calculator for standard deviation, you want to use the SX decimal value. And this will be rounded to a lowercase s equals 6.2 grams. Once we know our mean and standard deviation for our sample data, we can answer the question, approximately what percentage of kittens weigh between 82 and 96 grams in their initial weigh-in at Saving Grace Rescue. We know that 68% fall within 1 standard deviation from the mean. 95% of your data fall within 2 standard deviations from the mean. And 99.7% fall within 3 standard deviations. By adding and subtracting 1 standard deviation on either side of the mean, I can find that there is 68% of kittens that weigh between 84.5 and 96.9 grams. If I begin calculating what 2 standard deviations away from the mean will look like, that starts to drag my data down to the 78.3 grams mark. And the percentage that they were asking me about falls within 82 and 96 grams. 82 to 96 grams falls within that 68% mark. It's almost exactly 68%. So while I don't know the 100% exact percentage, it's pretty close to 68%. So I'm going to say that approximately 68% of kittens fall or weigh between 82 and 96 grams. So remember, it's just asking me for an approximation, and the approximation is just one of these 3. So when you're asked to make this determination, it's asking you to check whether your data is between 1, 2, or 3 standard deviations, specifically 68, 95, or 99.7%. It may not be exactly one of those percentages, but you're looking for which one it is relatively closest to.